Welcome to Dark Loops. And why is this so good? Hey, welcome to Dark Loops, and why is this so good? A podcast in which scholarly, creative, over-the-top fans get together to discuss something they find in pop culture that makes them drop to their knees and ask, why is this so good? I'm Dr. Scott Jordan, aka Zombie Scotty, cognitive psychologist, philosopher from Illinois State University. And tonight, we discuss... That's right. You guessed it, English Premier League football. Panelists, please introduce yourselves and tell the audience your favorite Premier League memory.
Hello, I'm Tom Buller. I'm a philosophy professor at Illinois State University. I've been a Man United fan for over 50 years. My favorite memory is a recent one, which is the first time I went to Old Trafford in England, which was about when was it? About 2007. And first chance to go there. And it's just the most amazing stadium. We were playing Bolton Wanderers. Heck of a game. We won 3-1. And, it's 75,000 people. It's the largest, I think, stadium in England. And just to see all those people and all cheering on your team, and you're at the heart of Manchester, and outside is this famous statue of the so-called Holy Trinity of Charlton, Best and Law. And to be there and to connect with this team that I've followed for so long was just amazing.
Fantastic. Sistah Aye.
Hey, everybody. My name is Sistah Aye. I am a co-host of the Sistah Productions podcast. I am from Boston, Massachusetts, and I am a Liverpool fan. Yeah. Proud to be. I first got into football about 15 or so years ago. I was always a sports fan, but never really followed football, which was not that big in the U.S. at the time. But my husband, who's from overseas, was a massive Man United fan and football fan in general. So he pretty much got me into it. And as they say, I had no idea of any of the teams at the time, not in England or anywhere. They say that your team picks you, and Liverpool picked me. So I became a huge fan. Probably one of my favorite memories, I sort of shared this with you earlier, was going to a Tottenham Hotspur game with my husband. We were, I think, just engaged at the time. So even though we both support different teams, we sort of support Tottenham together. And we had a great time in London, and just seeing how big football is in the world was kind of new to me and exciting. And that's what's kept me in it. So it's been fun.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Ray.
Okay, I'm Ray Bergner. I'm a Tottenham fan, and so I don't go back nearly as far as Tom, where I think Sistah, but I'll give you two formative moments. One was many years ago. I take my son. I didn't know anything about soccer. So I take my son. He's in kindergarten. He's going out for this AYSO little, kindergarten team. So the coach says, why don't you parents come along? And I said, sure, okay. So we're all the parents are standing in the back. All the little guys are standing in the front. And so he gives his spiel. And at the end, he says, I can always use help. So if anybody wants to give me a hand, I'd be grateful. And it's like, I don't know, it's like God talked to me or something. It's like I jumped out of the crowd and said, yeah, I'll do that. I don't know. I had no intention of doing it. I didn't know anything about soccer. But thereafter I coached AYSO and a little bit of high school, an assistant coach of the high school for 25 years. But the other formative moment, so early on, it's like anything I could find on TV, that's what I hooked on. So it was a Dutch league, so I became an Ajax fan. Cool. My wife's Jewish team, cool. I was really a big Ajax fan. And then we got the Premier League. And what determined my preference was I had a student. And she tells me the story. She says, well, she's probably like a 35-year-old student. She says, well, you know, every Saturday, my dad and I, we went to White Hart Lane. Every Saturday they were home. We went to White Hart Lane, and I had this big muffler that was like 6 feet long that I put on, and this hat and this jacket, Tottenham. And she tells me the story, and that's what hooked me into Tottenham. That was the basis of my choice. But I did bond through that whatever mechanism. No, not a mechanism.
Yeah, no, it wasn't.
I don't want to talk that way. Through that experience.
For those who don't know, Ray's very anti-mechanistic.
I'm not very mechanistic, no.
Fantastic. How about you, Jordan?
Hey, so I am Joran Arellanes. I am a professor at Illinois State University in developmental psychology. You can call me Dr. J. It's the easiest way to remember me by. Growing up, I would play soccer since the age of 4, I believe. That was when I started. And when I would come home from playing games, the Premier League was always on. And the team that always seemed to win all throughout the late 90s was Manchester United. And because of that, I fell in love with the team right away. That, you know, I wanted to be a part of a winning club, a club with great history. And of course, in the 90s, I mean, nobody could touch us. And the other thing is, you know, people said I kind of looked like Wayne Rooney, which looking back, I think might be more of a diss now than anything else.
That's not a good thing.
But
yeah. You don't. I don't think you do.
Is that hair all yours?
It's a good thing, you know.
Is that your real hair?
It is my real hair, yes. I have hair. I got him beat on that, that's for sure. The other thing is I play goalie, and I loved watching David De Gea, how he would, you know, use his feet and be, you know, not just a very stereotypical goalie, but be very athletic and acrobatic in how he would play the position. And so I really connected to Manchester United through that. And then finally got to see them in the International Champions Cup play against Roma. To watch them beat Roma in person was just an amazing sight. So those are my real memories of, you know, formative years of soccer in Manchester United.
That's fantastic. My experience with soccer began back in 1992. I was able to do a postdoc in Germany for a year. And I got to be there for 2 months to learn the language in the foothills of the Alps. And I went to a pub, very small pub in a village, and it was wall-to-wall people screaming at the television. It was Sweden versus Germany in the Euro Cup. I had no idea what that was, but I said, I got to be a part of this. And while I was there, I went to a FC Bayern game with a Russian colleague I was working with, and it was just off the hook, exciting. I had an experience some years later living in Munich for a year. This was a year, it's 1998, when 1860 was actually in the Bundesliga and was making a run 4 games in at the top of the league until they ran into FC Bayern, who just crushed them, and then that was it. The next year they were relegated. But it was always kind of a closet experience for me, right? It's something I did myself. There weren't really people I watched it with or something along those lines. And then, probably back in, I don't know, sometime in the 2000s, I was in Florida on vacation during the World Cup. And I go to the pub every day because there'd be all these international fans just watching the World Cup. And it was just a fantastic place to be. And then, I don't know how I discovered that Premier League was on Saturday mornings on American television. I don't know how it happened I discovered it. But it was also about roughly in the same time I had become chair earlier. But Friday night I'm done. Saturday mornings I'm exhausted. But I'd still get up at 6 o'clock, cup of coffee, and just lay there and watch soccer for 3 hours, or football for 3 hours. And it's just this nice thread that runs through my career, right? And now working in the department, I've got all these, we have this little corner of the office where where all the Premier League fans, and they're all fans of different teams. So Ray's Tottenham, Jordan's Man U, I'm Liverpool, and Dan is Arsenal. And it's just the best banter. Exactly. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ask each of you to answer one of 3 questions. You get to pick the question. And it's your favorite match, your favorite player, or your favorite goal. Right? So we'll start with Ray. Favorite match, favorite player, favorite goal. Just pick one of those.
Oh, geez, I'm not sure I'd have to do some thinking here. But the game that comes to mind is the victory over Ajax that put them into the finals of the Champions League, where Lucas Moura had a hat trick, and then that was just over the top.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were so outplayed in the first half, and it's like, this is embarrassing. And then for them to come back, it's just amazing. But on the down note, then here's Harry Kane. Harry Kane is injured for that game. For the final game, he's coming off of injury. Here's this hot player, Lucas Moura. You know, on their best days, he's not as good as Harry Kane, but he's hot. He's got it going. And they play Harry Kane, who was useless. He was not in shape, or I don't know what, but he did nothing in the final game, and they lost to Liverpool. Also,
there was that foul at the beginning of the game too, right?
Yeah, it was
that penalty.
That penalty at the beginning of the game. That was one of my worst moments. Like, that's such a discretionary call.
Yeah.
To call that at the beginning of a game, to really kind of tilt the game that way in the first 2 minutes was just disgusting to me. So I don't know. Favorite goal, maybe Lucas Moura's final goal there. And what was the third question?
Favorite player.
Favorite player. Should be able to answer that, but nobody particularly. I've liked a lot of players over the years. I mean, one that comes to mind, if I had to think for 5 minutes, I wouldn't pick him, but I used to like to watch Dimitar Berbatov.
Oh, yeah.
I just thought I just like to see his moves, his trickiness, I really enjoyed that guy.
So the Man U fans are having reactions. Please chime in.
Well, he was originally, before he abandoned us, he was with Tottenham. Yeah.
What'd you say, Jordan?
A traitor on his own team. Oh, Ray, that's rough.
Yeah. So those of you who have been in the longer-term fans, does it seem as if players are getting more authority in terms of when they play and don't play versus like it may have been 10 or 15 years ago? I mean, Ray was mentioning Harry Kane played, right? If he was hurt, I suspect it's because he demanded to play. Or do you think that was just bad coaching?
I just think he's the guy, and he's the guy you go with. He's the guy that got you here. Right. So you're going to go with him, even if he's not top form. But I think, retrospectively, I think huge mistake.
Yeah.
I think it could have been anticipated that he was not going to be really that effective that day. Maybe some inspirational leadership, but he's not going to be himself.
Who's their coach next year?
Mourinho.
Yeah, Mourinho.
Oh my God! I got to edit that out. Lord have mercy. I totally.
Oh no, that stays.
I totally forgot. That's right. And they actually went on a better record when he showed up, didn't they?
Yeah, they did okay down the stretch.
I mean, they made
it from 14th place to I think it was, or way down. I don't know, to 6th place at the end.
Yeah. Okay, Jordan. Favorite team, favorite player, favorite goal.
So I can actually combine all those, and I already brought up Wayne Rooney, but watching him do the bicycle kick over, Manchester City 3-1. I think it's 3-1 or 3-2, the final score. That goal was just incredible. The amount of skill to be able to do that. So I'd say he's definitely was my favorite player, especially growing up, got his autograph and stuff like that. But recently I've really, enjoyed Marcus Rashford and how he's been able to use his voice, to promote change socially as well. So he could very soon be taking over that number one spot.
Anybody want to comment on Jordan's pick?
It's a giant eye roll from me. That's all I got to say.
Well, I'm just, Liverpool will come up in a moment. Tom, favorite team, favorite player, favorite goal?
Well, I'm just going to talk for the next 50 minutes. So
All right, man.
The game, I think, for recent history of Man United is the 1999 Champions League final against Bayern, when we were 1 down with 2 minutes to go. And
that was amazing.
Just the most amazing turnaround with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's now the manager, scoring, make it 2-1. So that's just the game. And my daughter wasn't that old, and I think I remember that victory more than my daughter's birth. So, growing up, my favorite player was George Best, the most incredible, maybe the first superstar in what was then the first division. Just, sadly he died young, but on his day he was incredible. And one of my favorite goals, when he was playing for Northern Ireland against England, and the English goalkeeper, Gordon Banks, tried to kick the ball out, and Best kind of volleyed the ball out of his hand and scored. The goal didn't count, but it summed up everything about George Best. Other goals, I think it was against Bradford, the David Beckham cross that poor Scholes volleyed in. Just amazing players.
That's fantastic. Sistah Aye, now we get to Liverpool. Oh, by the way, before we go any further, you guys got to know, Tom doesn't watch the games live.
Oh, a double there.
No.
Now, are you from Manchester, Tom?
No, I'm from London.
You're from London, okay.
Yeah,
Just
my
curious.
grandfather was from Manchester.
Okay, nice.
Sistah Aye, favorite team, favorite player, favorite
I'm going
goal?
to pick favorite player.
Okay.
I can't really pick exactly a favorite game or a favorite goal, but one of my favorite players, and it's very hard to pick just one, especially after this past season and
Yes.
building up, is Dirk Kuyt, if I'm saying his name correctly. I really like his work ethic. He'll run 100 miles an hour for 90 plus minutes. And he is always sitting at the edge of the goal for any time something comes near to being a goal and it comes off just slightly, Dirk Kuyt's putting it in the goal. So I've always liked him. I know he didn't win anything for us, but his work ethic and he's definitely one of my favorites.
Oh, it's a cherry picker.
Yeah,
right?
cherry picker, yeah.
So-
And to compare him to somebody that's playing with them now, I would pick James Milner because he's
Oh, I
always
love
out there 150 miles an hour, and I really appreciate that. So
I love James. Yeah.
No, it's fantastic. I'm just gonna do my favorite match right now, and it's actually not. It's not Liverpool coming back against Barcelona. I mean, that's just so over the top that it's obvious. I want to go back to the season before when they beat Man City twice in the Champions League. And Tom and I watched both of those games together. I don't think he was pulling for Man City, though. I don't think a Man U fan can actually get themselves to do that. But to just watch them do that and then do it in Manchester City's field was just fantastic. Really an accomplishment, and it was an ultimate crime for Salah to not get through that final game, right? That was I can't imagine being robbed like that on an obvious penalty, by the way, that wasn't called. But though that, I guess you could call it match, it just sticks out to me because it was so well done, and it was such a intense response to Man City, right? It's just to know we're the best, and you just sit down. We'll beat you wherever we beat you. My favorite player, I know it could be sound faddish, but Bobby Firmino is soccer at heart, man. The guy is the best ball handler on the team, and he scores the least of the top three. But it's like Dennis Rodman for the Bulls. You know, Dennis Rodman, there's no final three championships without Dennis Rodman because basically he just played the boards, and he was the only guy in the NBA who could wrap it up with Shaq. And I remember many images of him wrapped arm in arm with Shaq and just throwing him around as if Shaq were half his size. And Firmino is just the guy who you get him in the box and the ball's going to come to you. You get there, the ball's going to come to you. And he's probably more often than not going to give it up. And I don't really care for it when people criticize his lack of scoring because no Firmino, no scores for the others because he's putting it on a plate. And I love that commitment to the team. And I think a lot of the Liverpool players are pretty hardy embodiments of Klopp's philosophy. But Firmino, just this silent, always working hard in your face. Here comes a ball, boom. Here comes a ball, boom. I just love it. And it's a blast to watch.
And a great set of teeth on that guy.
The best set of teeth on television.
I mean.
I was going to say that. But.
Wow.
So we've all answered a question or two. So let's just talk about this for a second. What makes a team a good team in the Premier League?
Well, there's an interesting article that was in The Guardian yesterday about this. I only read it because it was about Man United. But the discussion was interesting.
What do they have to do to be a good team? Is that what you're saying?
Oh!
Thank you.
Oh, there you go.
It was the point of the article was fundamentally it's good players. There was a slight kind of criticism of the Guardiola City.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which the person who wrote the article actually used the word automaton because obviously Guardiola's style and what he was, what some regard as the greatest team ever when he was at Barcelona with Xavi and Messi, where everybody had this, regimented, highly organized, highly predicted team. But what's perhaps missing is that you just had 22 players who were phenomenal. And you see, the point was talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer that in a sense he's gone with the view that what we need is the best players, and it's generally speaking that it's the best players that matter. That if you don't have the right players, it doesn't matter what system that you use.
So someone's got pushback on that, right? Because I'm sure we're all aware of teams that had good players that were flops. Anyone got an example?
I would actually even argue with Manchester United right now. I think the problem is we have so many players that are similar in nature, like Fred and McTominay, that we can't get to that next level. Whereas the Barcelona clubs of the past, they had that same structure where everybody could work together, but each player was so unique in their own abilities. They were, if one team had a weakness, that one player could step into that role, but they still had that same cohesion where they knew where each other was going to be and use their different skill sets together. Whereas now I feel some, like Manchester United in particular, has very high quality players, but they're all the same player. And so we haven't been able to get to those top levels yet.
So you think a little more role-oriented style for Man U would help? I have to imagine as a coach, that's the gig, right? How do you get people to sacrifice, reorganize their individual goals around the team? I mean, Man City was the embodiment of that, and Liverpool's a little more wide open, but who's going to play what position on Liverpool, right? And I think once they got Van Dijk and sealed the deal, the goal, they were able to.
That was the difference. Yeah.
Totally the difference. You didn't have, it's like having Rodman on your team, right? I mean, it's okay. We got the ball. We're sure we got the ball. Right. Anybody else? What's it take to be a good team?
Well, I'm not,
the best
I'll
team?
just say this is more like what I like. I like those, it's certainly true. You want the best players, but some of the teams that were sort of overachievers, like I think it was a 1995 Everton team that won the FA Cup. And it was like, you just watch them and they're either going to win this game or they're going to die out there. They're just, it's just like, they're so all in, so over the top all in. I love to see that, and I love to see when it pays off. So
I mean, I would say the importance of having a good coach. I mean, look at Sir Alex Ferguson for you guys. I mean, he carried you guys for so many years. I mean, you wanted to play for that man. That's why you came to Man United. And that's why you wanted to play your best football. And when he left, you really saw his impact. It was very hard to keep that standard of playing.
Yeah, right.
And you see with Klopp now with Liverpool, how he's really brought that team to be a team. I mean, he's like a father figure. He's like your best friend. When you come off, you get the biggest hug from that guy. You want to play your best football for him. So I think the importance of having a good coach really pushes you to do your best and have a top team. I mean, Mourinho, I hate the guy because he's so ego.
Yes.
It's all about him. It's not about the team.
Yes.
He wants to win because it makes him look good. You know, he's not going to be, pushing you for any other reason. He's gone from Man United. Now he's at Tottenham. You know, he's been around. I would not want him at Liverpool for any stretch of time.
Oh, no, no.
Yeah.
I mean, it took Klopp a few years, right, to develop the vibe. And he did have to get the players, right? No Van Dijk.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you got to have Van Dijk in the middle and the back to do the work. I want to quickly share my favorite goal with you guys, if you don't mind.
Ooh, okay.
Because I watched this live. All right. You're seeing the Chelsea versus Stoke game there? All right. This is Charlie Adams.
Finding Matic. Right, the challenge of Nzonzi twice, actually. Referee keeping the game flowing. I think he might come back and have a word with Nzonzi in a minute or two. Here's Hazard. No foul, but he stayed down. Referee had a look there. Hazard still on the ground as Charlie Adam goes for goal here. Oh, and he scored! What an unbelievable strike from Charlie Adam from absolutely nothing. That was incredible.
Nice.
I absolutely love that goal. It's almost like he smoked a cigarette a couple minutes ago and then put his beer down and said, I got to go out now. Oh, the ball's in my face. And what I love about it is the wisdom expressed in that moment, right? I mean, the game's in his body. And in that split second, he knows that. And it's so close that Courtois almost hits it, right? It bounces off his hand. And I love how wisdom is able to express itself in the game.
Yeah, but Beckham scored one like that. Rooney scored one like that. Michael Arteta scored one like that.
Yeah, but I don't know that they were smoking before. I'm teasing there, but I just love it when these players express this skill that you just don't see coming. I mean, once you're in the box, we expect to see the bop, but in a moment like that, that's just live life showing up large right there.
Yeah.
So I got a theory to ask you all about. I think for about the past 4 years, the best coaches in Europe have all been coming to the Premier League to compete against each other, right? And so Klopp didn't just come to Liverpool. He came to Liverpool to go up against Mourinho, Guardiola, Bergner. What do you guys think about that? In other words, are the best coaches in the game in the Premier League now, and are we really watching more of a coach competition?
Now Ancelotti is in the Premier League.
Yeah. But it's the biggest league. I mean, in terms of revenue, in terms of television, in terms of audience. So it's also, I think it's fair to say, the most competitive league. I mean, the other European leagues, you've got Bayern just won their 9th Bundesliga in a row. Italy, Serie A is more competitive, but in La Liga, it's Barcelona or Real Madrid. In Ligue 1, it's just going to be PSG. So I think that the Premier League is where if you're a top-notch manager, you want to play and you want to coach, because you're going to be competing against the best.
Yeah. Are they also bringing in the best players?
Well, it's sorry, I didn't want to go on. But
no, go ahead, man. It's good.
It's I think. Well, I don't know the money situation, but you've got PSG who paid. I mean, the highest price paid was for Neymar when he went to PSG. So I think that other leagues have the capacity to buy the best players. But I can't believe that. I mean, if you're playing for PSG, maybe you have 2 competitive matches a season.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
you see many fewer scores like 5-1 or 6-1 in the Premiership than you do in these, the Spanish league or the German league, or it's like.
And what's the scoop on Messi?
He's
Did he
back
go
at
to Man
Barcelona.
City?
I don't
Staying in
follow him
Barca.
now, but
No,
Who
he
can afford him? Who can afford him?
he decided to stay at Barcelona because La Liga ruled that his contract committed him to staying another year, and as he said, he didn't want to start legal action against the club. But the smart money says, look, he can leave in a year. Everything has changed. I mean, here's a player like who wants to leave, and that's not very good for morale.
No, it's not. I was praying he would go to Man City. I love a Man City Liverpool matchup with Messi playing for Man City. I really do. Liverpool doesn't need him. They already have Salah, right? They don't. Messi's thing is his ability to touch the ground 3 times before anyone else has touched it twice, right? And Salah's very close. Salah's got that same build, and I'm not quite sure the total foot speed, but man, bring Messi into the Premier League, and
Love to see him somewhere else.
And give him to Man City, really.
Somewhere else.
Yeah, somewhere else.
Yeah.
Tottenham would be an excellent choice.
Yeah, we'll give him to you. You can have him. Make it interesting.
I don't know. I love the fact that he's staying at Barcelona. I mean, that's who he is from being a 13-year-old kid. The only club that wanted to take a chance on him. I think there's something true to him staying true to his roots. Even like in the NFL with Tom Brady, moving over to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's just really like why, and that was the same impression that I had when Messi was leaving. It's like, this is who you are. You are an icon in that club, and to leave, I thought would just been kind of a shame. So I'm happy that he's staying in Barcelona.
I really hope the guy finds some peace. I mean, it's hard to say that kind of stuff about someone who makes so much money, but he's been so mistreated by Argentina. When you look at the last World Cup, where they didn't even play. Second half, they did not play the Man City striker. Who's the Argentinian Man City striker?
Sergio Aguero.
Yeah, they didn't even play him in the second half.
Why would you?
Why wouldn't you? I mean, Messi and Aguero.
But see, that's my whole point. Is that he's been brilliant at Barcelona. And he's surrounded by brilliant players.
Yeah.
And maybe it just doesn't carry over to the Argentinian national team.
I couldn't understand those coaching decisions. And I heard there was some mix-up or something about players trying to say who was going to play or some stuff like that. But I hope the guy finds some peace, because he's just a gift for the game, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I hear he's going to Bolton.
They could sure use them.
I have to say, if I can revise I used to like to watch Dimitar Berbatov, but my favorite player ever is Messi, and he's. I'll go and watch YouTube highlight films and like, oh my God.
Yeah.
It's just the guy is just from another planet. He's just amazing.
Messi over Ronaldo any day.
Any day.
Stop.
Any
Sorry.
day. What he got them through the Euro Cup last time, right? Portugal won the Euro Cup recently.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean that's what he's
Yeah.
won with them, which is good, I guess.
And yeah. And I didn't get, it seemed like his usual ego was not on display in those Euros. The last seemed like he was a better person. You just got the sense from what they were saying and some of the shots of him. Like, yeah, felt better about him.
In psychology, you get to that age where you start developing or stagnating, right? And maybe that's you get to a point in your career, you don't have that many games left. You want to leave with some grace, hopefully, But if you got a coach like Klopp, you just learn how to play every game gracefully, right?
Yes.
So, most underrated player in Premier League history. If that's a non-starter, someone else can give another question.
Well, it must be somebody from Liverpool.
Stevie G, man. Poor Stevie G. One miss.
Stevie G. Yeah.
One slip. I mean, literally, not even metaphorically. One slip, and it's done. And they got a Champions League, but I just feel.
But he's not underrated.
No, he's not underrated. That's.
Oh
that's
no, I'm
true.
just making up stuff.
Yeah.
But he is. It's. I guess people. I don't know if people. Yeah, it is sad. I guess because he never left. He got offered
hard.
tons of money to leave, man, and
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
He stuck around, and
that's right.
That's when I actually started watching Liverpool. Was the Sturridge, Sterling, Suarez front three.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's when Suarez came into Premier League and just tore it up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he bit
And
anybody.
started biting people.
Yeah.
Literally poured into people.
Not good.
Yeah.
And that's when they had the Scottish coach, Brandon Rodgers.
Yeah.
Brendan Rodgers, yep.
And he took him pretty far. I felt bad for him getting firing. It's not his fault, Stevie slipped. But
He did pretty well for a while, Rodgers. And he's proved himself beyond Liverpool. So
absolutely. He's coaching in the Premier League now?
Yeah.
Leicester City.
Leicester.
Leicester, yeah. He took them pretty far this year, too.
Very well up until the last, 12 games or so. He was third place or something.
Yeah.
So, predictions about the season, predictions about the top four.
Yeah.
I would say it's going to be Liverpool, Man City, Man United, and then I think it's going to be Chelsea. So I think we're going to have the exact same four next year as we do now. I just think those four have really started to separate themselves from the pack, and Arsenal might be down the championship next year. We'll see.
Wow. I wouldn't mind that.
Exactly, Arsenal, but that coach is good, right? He was at Guardiola. Yeah, he's a good coach. Good
player.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, good name. I don't know about good player or good coach, but good name.
So that top four you picked, is that money talking?
I mean,
I'm not saying are you going to bet. What I'm saying is that's the big four. That's been the big four for a decade now. And is that all about money? It goes back to Tom's point earlier.
I think it might be, but I think it's also the development of the players as well. Chelsea, I think, has done a really good job of getting really young players. Man U, same thing. Whereas, I think Liverpool and Man City just have those dominant players that have already developed. Where I just don't see that same level of development in the other clubs that are out there right now. I thought what Leicester has done in the past was really, incredible. But I think they're now getting to that point where they're aging out of their top, their top players. Tottenham, same thing. I think, there's just too much confusion right now in that team. Arsenal, I think they're just
confusion on what team?
On Tottenham. I think there's just too much confusion with, Mourinho, as their coach, just trying to make his own thing. And, I think Kane needs to leave and they need to get the money from him to rebuild, honestly.
Yeah.
So they just seem like the ones that are in the best position. But who knows, maybe Leeds will, come in and make it interesting with their, big market.
It's our first game this year.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Please wipe the floor with them. I just want them back down.
Yeah.
Everybody agree with Jordan's top four?
No, Man City, I think, Tottenham number one.
Bias.
No, Man City, Liverpool, Man United. I don't know.
So what makes you put Man
Chelsea.
City above Liverpool? It's not a threat. I'm just curious. What makes you put Man City above Liverpool?
Because with the COVID, the Liverpool coach can't hug anymore. And that's going to be a big fall off in team spirit. They're not going to get that love.
I guarantee you, before
bubble, man.
Exactly, before they give up on hugs, they're going to wear.
Hug. They need those hugs.
Well, they're just going to wear masks, man. Right?
And I don't know. They haven't done so great. They didn't, at the end of last season, and
they were drunk, man.
These recent games, I know.
They were so far ahead at the momentum.
They were drunk.
But then these games over the summer, they haven't been winning them.
So why did Man City give up Sané?
You wanted it out.
History to me.
I mean, can they afford to have him gone? Ortiz is gone.
I think they're really going to put a lot of hope into Foden. Phil Foden's supposed to take over that role, but he's also, 20 years old. So we'll see. I think Sané just wanted to get out of there.
This past weekend.
Yeah.
Buller.
Stay away from those Icelandic girls.
Yeah.
Ian's really got him going.
Yeah. So I think Liverpool are the Leicester City. So they'll be a mid-table team next season.
You wish.
I mean,
dreadful, absolutely dreadful.
I'm just, it's sad. I mean, if I suppose it's good that you win the league every 30 years. That's pretty good.
You fan.
Yeah.
So Chelsea have done the most in the transfer market.
Yeah, they have.
So that's interesting because they shipped so many goals, and they've got Thiago Alcantara. They've got this Havertz. So Frank Lampard, I think, is impressive what he's done.
It is first year, and
but it's early days. I think it's going to be one way or another. It's going to be Guardiola's last year at City.
And why do you say that?
I think he doesn't stay very long. He's
a project coach.
Yeah, and he's done it. I mean, City were not too long ago in League Two, so I mean they've become a much more significant team, but I don't. He's not here for the long term. He's not Sir Alex. So I think this is his last year. He'll want to go out with a bang. Arteta at Arsenal. If they can keep Lacazette and Aubameyang, they're a good team. United haven't. I mean, they've brought in Beek. No idea what's happening to Jadon Sancho. So I think a couple of really good signings could make United really, really, really competitive. But right now I see it City, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, Wolves, Leeds,
Lord have mercy,
Bournemouth, and then
my God,
and then Liverpool mid-table.
Man, get yourself another glass of wine.
Yeah, exactly.
You love Bournemouth.
No, Bournemouth. I like that coach too, man. I don't know what happened to them. Did he have too many?
Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he gonna? I guess he's stuck with them. I haven't heard. In the relegation, is he still with them?
No.
You said he's gone, Tom. Was he
I
fired
think
or he left?
Eddie Howe.
No, I think he left. They agreed on. He left on. I think it's on mutual terms. I mean, he done all he could, and it.
Boy, he did a great job for him.
Yeah, he did. Man. So, Sistah Aye, your rankings.
Well, I would hope that Liverpool can continue to dominate. I'm not sure that will happen. I think probably top two, Man City and Liverpool. I don't see Man United. I think they're going to float around 5-6 like they have the past few years. Sorry, Tom.
Right.
Probably Chelsea. They've had a lot of good signings and they've been pretty strong. And that fourth spot, I don't know. Not Arsenal. Love to see a Wolves up there or a Leicester.
Yes.
Somebody new, some new blood, something like that. So
Yeah, the Wolves
but I hope
kind of fell
it's
off.
competitive. You know, we have a good down to the end of the season. blow.
I agree with you completely on that. I'm going to say Liverpool won. That's because that's what I want.
Yeah.
I do think it's going to be a fascinating season for the race for 1 and 2. The thing is, we had that season, not this past year, but the one before.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the Stone that exactly, and that Stones block of that goal that would have put Liverpool, into that game. That was the difference in the season. That one moment. So we've kind of been there.
Yeah.
And
Champions League, all that stuff.
Oh
So
my
last
God,
few
yeah.
years. Yep.
So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Tom's right about Gladiola's last year. And if that's the case, he's just got a lot to prove in the last year, and I'm just wondering if the pressure might be too much. One thing I love about him is I don't know if you've seen the Amazon Prime documentary on Man City, but he's just 100% energy. But he's also 100% love. He doesn't go around hugging like Klopp does, but I just love how his team's with him in the training room when they're going over strategies. And I'm just wondering if it might be too much pressure. Whereas Klopp doesn't have to do, he's already done it.
Yeah.
So is Guardiola, by the way.
Well, Guardiola's done a thing or two, yeah.
But Klopp will
Exactly.
be around for a while.
And so I just think those two matches, unless one of them just falls off the planet early on, I think those two matches are going to be the matches to watch. And it's just good football at its best.
Could be.
Yeah, I think if I can make one bold prediction, I think it's that Chelsea has 3 of their top 6 players leave next year because they're not getting enough playing time. So whether that be like Mount and Abraham and Pulisic, Hazard maybe gets angry. I just think they brought in so many good players, but they're all the same player, the same position. There's not enough space on the field for them. So unless they're trying to win games, 11 to 8, and just not have any defense, I think they might be in trouble to maintain all those players.
So where would Pulisic go?
If he was to leave Chelsea?
Yeah. I mean, is he I know is he in demand?
I can see him going to Atletico Madrid real easy.
Really?
Yeah.
Going and playing in Spain. I think that would be a great fit for him. Or even going back to Dortmund, I think it would be good. But I think he's ready for more of a prestigious club.
A little more spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyone have any final questions, comments, statements about why the Premier League is so good?
Well, it's because on every game, it's a game.
Yeah.
I mean,
Amen.
If you look at the Ligue 1, it's just not like that. I mean,
Episode 6 of the Man City documentary is called Chance. And they do this fantastic statistical analysis of how likely you are to be able to score a goal given where the ball is on the pitch. And they make it clear that chance plays a much bigger role in football than it does in things like American baseball, American football. And since that chance plays such a bigger role, that's what allows the lower teams to have a chance. Is that a third of the goals are luck?
Spain, not in Germany, not in France.
Yeah, fair enough. No,
you see this, what's on this Saturday? It was going to be Bournemouth versus Man City. Oh, that's a yawner. Well, probably, but damn, it happens.
No, it does.
I always say I'm going to watch a bit, and if Man City rolls out to 3-0, I'll move on. But I've just seen so many times where these teams at the bottom of the table have pulled these upsets.
And
Go ahead, it's looking me better than watching ESPN play another Sampdoria, game during COVID. Like all the teams you're going to highlight the entire time everybody's locked in, you're going to go with Sampdoria? Like, really?
One of the things I really enjoy about watching Premier League is as a sport, soccer football as a sport, but is the continuous play, the lack of timeouts. And it's not that I loved watching American football and I loved watching American basketball, but it just seems to me like the commercial influence just got larger and larger. And I'm watching TV and I'm watching way too many commercials for 1 hour's worth of activity. What I love about Premier League is I can tape a game. I can watch the first half, go mow my yard, and come back and watch the second half uninterrupted. And I just love, I love it when a team like Liverpool comes out and plays a team like Stoke that's just gonna make two rows, just play defense, and you got to try to get through them. I just love those, and then you'll play a team like Man City where they're both going to go after it, and it's more open. I just love how in real time what I'm doing is so contingent on what you're doing, whereas in American football and American baseball, everything stops, starts over, stops, starts over. I mean, that's got its own tension. But I just like the ebb and flow, the speed up, the slow down of the real-time game. Tom, you kind of threw a fit while I was talking. You all right over there?
Yeah, well, it just you were talking about Liverpool and Man City's ebb and flow. Where
oh, sorry, man.
Where is the creativity there?
Oh, and your deadpan is really quite good, so I can't tell when you're serious. You watch Liverpool in the box, and they're trying to do the 2-3 pass. They're trying it. It doesn't always work, but I mean, they're not like Arsenal, who just wouldn't shoot the damn ball 3 years ago, right? They just get into the box and they wouldn't shoot until it was perfect. And so I think Liverpool's got some real touch in the box.
But to go back to my favorite game ever, I mean, that's what. I mean, I don't watch really any other sport, but I mean, even if you're not a Man United fan, that's just the pinnacle, I think, of why football is so incredible. I mean, in the first half, Bayern are very good. They score, they hit the post a couple of times. It's going on, United bring on 2 substitutes, Sheringham and Solskjaer. Mm-hmm. They've already put, apocryphally, they've already put the Bayern Munich ribbons on the cup. It's 2 minutes to go. I mean, it's storybook football.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember for that game, I hate, like everybody, I hate to see the score beforehand, but I saw the score. 2-1. And so I'm going to watch it anyway. And I'm watching. And I said, I guess that must have been a mistake. This is not going to be ending 2-1 England. I mean, Man U. Damn. That was the most amazing thing. Yeah. That was just, 91st, 93rd minute or whatever. Yeah. Jeez.
I mean, I was watching the Tottenham thing, and I forget, Harry Kane, I think, was talking, and these strikers, they get maybe 2 or 3 chances in a game, and then you've got players like Chicharito, and then there's a United who had this incredible goals per chances ratio, and then you've got, I mean, that's it. It's luck. A lot of it is luck, and you've got a second to make your mark, and it's just incredible.
Yep. That about wraps it up for us. Thanks to the members of the panel for joining me this episode. Panelists, please tell the audience where they can find you on social media. Tom.
My email is aka.tombuller@gmail.com.
Sistah Aye.
You can find me at sistahspeakproductions.com. That's SISTAH.
Okay, and Ray.
I can be located at rmbergner@ilstu.edu. And that's the only place you can find me.
All righty then. Jordan.
You can find me at JORDANARELLANES, the number 5 at gmail.com, also on Facebook and TikTok, if that's your speed. We'll see if I can do some good soccer TikToks this year.
There you go. You can find me on Twitter at dark_loops. You can find me on the Department of Psychology webpage at Illinois State University. You can find all episodes of Dark Loops, Why Is This So Good on YouTube at the Dark Loops Productions channel. If you'd like to leave feedback about this podcast, please leave it below on this YouTube page or send a message to darkloopsproductions@gmail.com. We'll be sure to read it at the end of the next podcast. So there it is. From all of us to all of you, big hugs. And remember, go! Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.